It's on now. Thank you. When I see the 3%, I feel the same as Mark. It's just kind of like.
Well, I'm a consumer just like you guys, so I understand and agree with how you feel about that. I understand how you feel about that. It is a big number. I mean, it's a huge number.
I like to see how that translates across a rate increase, whether it's $1 here or $1 there. I think that's more, what's the proper word, palatable to the consumer to be charged without the little, I call them junk fees. Is exactly what these are, junk fees. And it's almost like you're adding a cost that traditionally was already being picked up as the cost of the purchase. So, I mean, if you ever read social media about restaurants, that people go to a restaurant and next thing you know, they're reading the receipt. Next thing you know, there's a 3% charge on there. To me, it's just charge me $21 for a steak instead of 19 or 20. Add the cost. Give me a true number. But adding that in, I think there's going to be people, I don't know how many it is, will actually be turned off by it and potentially second guess coming back to the golf course. You may be right. This may be the best way to do it, but I think you really need to step back and really just analyze the bottom line number of adding it into the initial cost or charging it the 3%.
Or here's another thought: do it for food and beverage. Do it in the restaurant like other restaurants do, and then hit an increase at for the golf.
Yeah, that's certainly understandable. We have stepped back this year.
Sorry to the members of the public who frequent the restaurant.
We had talked about this earlier in the year, and then we did not pull the trigger because we wanted the software in the golf shop to be able to do this in a clean way, which we were unable to get our vendors to do it in a clean way. So we held off on it. So we have spent some time thinking about it. I certainly understand where you guys are coming from, all of you. And, we'll continue the conversation. Obviously, we haven't implemented it yet, but we'll continue that conversation. We did do some research and called golf courses where I know where all the pros are that I personally know. So I didn't cold call anyone, but I did reach out to the pros that I know and asked what they were doing. And almost 100% are adding the 3% fee. And it's just the way the world is going. There are more people have the fee than don't have the fee in all mercantile areas. So I think it's one of those things that it's inevitable, but if we need to package it a certain way, we can certainly figure that out.
What do we spend a year on credit card fees?
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000.
Okay, so we do I know the total that we do, and that means like nobody pays cash. Almost nobody.
Yeah,
what percent are we credit card?
Probably at least 75%. Yeah. Maybe 80.
Probably all the cash is in the food and bev side.
There's a little bit on the golf side, I would say, but majority is, I would say majority on the golf side is our credit card fees for sure. I would probably say at least 75-25 or 80-20.
I even saw one restaurant, I don't know where I saw it, that was charging a fee for credit cards, but a small discount for cash. It's pretty crazy, but
yeah,
unusual concept.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just, when you do your budget this year, just see if it makes sense to throw an extra $1 here and there instead of putting the junk fees on there, just because my fear is like we're saying is it'll be perceived as a bigger negative than to the bottom line.
Yeah.
But I may be wrong, but you guys see that. There.
Yeah, a comment from the public.
How you doing? I'm Bob Hines. I'm a resident of Lower Makefield Township. I have a question, and it's directed to you guys about this. When you reserve a tee time, are you required to put down money on the round?
No, when you reserve online, we just ask that the customer has a credit card on file to hold the reservation. So we don't collect the fees because, when you're online, there are a lot of different rates via time of the day, resident, non-resident, 9 holes, walking, riding. So to hold the reservation, we have the card within that profile, but we don't charge anything online. Not until you come into the golf shop and then right at the point of sale.
Thank you.
Yep.
So moving on, point taken, and we'll certainly have more discussion as we move forward on that
Sure.
topic.
Yeah.
Golf?
Thank you, Kev. Just golf update here as well. We had our club championship this past weekend. A few of our committee members participated, so thank you. We had a nice, really good participation from our association as a whole. We had just about 60 players coming across between our ladies flight for our ladies club champion, our senior club champion, our super senior. And then we had 2 individual flights as well. So participation seemed good. Feedback seemed good. Mark and the golf course really showcased well. So hats off to he and the team there. And I thought Chef Mark and Jenna and everybody did a nice job on the service. Hopefully those on the committee that played agree. And it's one of our, certainly one of our highlights of the year. So, we wanted to make sure it was a good one and we felt positive about it. Last year, Mother Nature threw us a knuckle curveball. We had to delay it for over a month. So this year, without any rain other than the one time in August, it showcased well. So we'll have our men's final club championship match, 36-hole match being played this weekend. One of the players in the semifinal got injured, so that delayed that match, but that'll be had this weekend. So should kind of put a bow on everything here by the end of the week, and happy to have our champions for the year. So again, nice event. As we move into the fall months yes, go ahead, Helen. Yes. So the one thing, and I did it over the weekend too on our Facebook channel, kind of follow us along each day. I did a little result board at the end of day 1, at the end of day 2, kind of following. And then this weekend with our final match, since we have an online leaderboard and scoring, there'll be like a kind of a live link, almost like a Facebook live link that players can, or not players, but golfers can watch and kind of follow along to see how the match is going. So we have used that online.
So this is the men's championship? This
this
weekend
portion
for
of
the
it,
elimination?
this portion, this match is
Final.
the final. The overall men's club champion. We've already crowned our ladies and senior guests.
Right. And so just for the public, the match will be Saturday, or is it a 2-day?
So yes, thank you. So it's going to be a 1-day match. It's 36 holes. So they play 36 in the same day. That'll be Sunday. And depending on, last year it ended up going 37 holes, believe it or not. So the competition was really good. So some years it might take all 36 holes. Some years it might take 30 holes. So
Oh, okay.
but yes, it's one day.
Oh, okay. And the 2 players are?
We have Chris Reedman. He's part of our association, having a nice summer. And Mitch Rakowski. He won the championship 2 years ago. So it should be a great match.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
Sunday.
That's Sunday. Yeah,
Okay,
they're tee off right around 9 o'clock for the first 18, and wish them both well. Wish them both luck.
And what Ed's talking about is pretty neat because you can follow on your phone, when we were playing in the league. So we were playing for the championship of our flight and my friends were watching, online to see how we were doing. So it's pretty neat. That
Absolutely. I mean,
do that.
that's some of the technology that our software has allowed. And then it's kind of our goal as Spirit to kind of, continue to grow our tournament program and have our players kind of embrace the technology, even though sometimes it's a little tricky. But so we say it's unofficial, but it's great that we have a nice TV that we have that's portable. So players are seeing it at the turn. You're using on your app. If you're in contention, you can kind of follow who's behind you or who's in front of you. So, that was part of our goal, was to kind of let our ladies, our seniors, our men be able to really engage the tournament aspect and feel feel a little pressure coming down the stretch. Feel like it's a championship because it is. So, and we take a lot of pride in that. So we appreciate that. Appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Moving along here with our golf academy as we get into our fall months here. It's crazy that October is not too far away. We have Joe and Lauren and Howie have our junior program after school, girls and boys engaged a little bit. They had a session this afternoon. So that's going pretty well. And, they're fully booked. Joe's even got a group on Sundays. And when I was running the championship yesterday, I got a chance to see it firsthand. So always nice to see our juniors around and the noises and the excitement that they bring. So we like seeing their smiles. So it's been good. And we also have a new session that the coaches kind of came up with. We're calling it Learning Adult Golf. Kind of an intro style. Kevin and I and Mike and others, we've done it for years. So just a new kind of tagline for growing the game. We have 2 sessions that are going to start early October and run for a few weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have an AM session and a PM. Those have been launched and registration's been up and they're fully booked. So a nice turnout from the public on that. So happy to see that. And then I know we've mentioned this to the committee prior, but our PGA HOPE program that Spirit does a lot with, whether in Jersey or PA, but this year I'll be able to chance to host at Makefield our sessions. Kevin's just wrapping up his at another course at Clearbrook. I think next week, you said, and then we'll start up here at Makefield on Wednesday, October 9th. So those are 4 Wednesdays in a row. So we have 20 students confirmed on that and excited for a new kind of opportunity for Makefield to show, what we can do for some of our vets that want to learn a little bit more golf. So happy to help them. So with that, I think I'll turn it back to Kevin unless the committee has any other questions or comments. Okay. For food and bev.
Or food and bev update. We've just gone through the staff turnover from summer staff to our fall staff, which is a little smaller in size, but getting trained up quickly and doing a really good job. So the mainstays are still there, but a lot of the younger kids, there's been some turnover, but the training's going well and we're doing really, really nice job. Today, for example, looked like a really smooth event. We are working on the pop-up dinner schedule. You've probably seen some of that advertising out front on the street and things. And we talked to a few people about maybe repackaging that into some sort of chef's dinner. I don't think everyone's understanding the pop-up concept. And maybe if we rename it to a chef's special dinner, something. We haven't gone through all that yet, but we're working on maybe, repackaging that a little bit. It is starting to gain a little momentum and we've done better each time we've had it. So that's a good start. But maybe get a little more Chef Mark Miller influence in the advertising as well. But otherwise, the outings and the events have gone really well. Like we said, the banquet numbers are very high and the a la carte is gaining momentum. So far, so good there. Staff training is going well. And, Jenna and Elise continue to work well together, getting that through. And then the new additions to the staff in the kitchen as well have gone quite well. So we're, that's always a tricky hire, especially this time of year. But we've seen to do really well. And the Woodside Grill on the weekends has been a very solid contributor to what we're doing. So a lot of good impact on the food and beverage side the last a few weeks for sure. 5 more weeks of outing season, definitely a few each week for the next few weeks. And then that will settle down. But right now, all things point in the right direction.
The grill you're talking about is what's outside at the turn, right? Where they're right. I think it's great because, you come around, you can smell the burgers or whatever you're cooking. And we were sitting in there yesterday after we were done and you could see people stopping and getting a burger. And so
we've trained up the staff on pace of play and, how to get those turns quick. And
you can still work on that one, but
it's gotten better from day one till now. So we are working on that. That is certainly
for me. So, but no, it looks good. You guys I was there Friday night and Saturday and Sunday. But Friday night there was a Sweet 16 and it was hopping and there was a ton of people there and they managed to do reasonably well on the inside, getting the food quick and the drinks quick. So kudos to them because they were running. We should probably put a sign up to the young ladies, if you're wearing heels, stay off the greens.
Yes, we did catch them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were aerating all right. And then on just to comment on, I think it was Saturday night, the Pennsbury High School Hall of Fame banquet was there. A friend of mine is very involved with that. And he goes, I was so pleased. He goes, they really headed out of the park. And he's a Yardley member and they don't food at Yardley anymore. But when something like that happens, if we hear it or you know, the message is get on the phone to them now and say, we heard from the golf committee that you guys had a great time. You want to book for next year now? Well, and you know, get them, you know, so you want to book for the next 2 years,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, go ahead.
Oh, could you just, so you have 2 events and 8 outings already booked for October? So is that
Yes.
the normal run for October or especially the outings, or are you increasing in that?
Yeah, so I can touch on the outings for sure. Definitely more, Helen. So through September and October, we'll have 18 outings and a 6-week span. So that's, I think it's 7 Thursdays in a row, and then we have 6 Mondays in a row starting today with Kiwanis. And then we'll go through most of October on Mondays. We've picked up 3 new events just in October. Really what happened was once COVID hit, a lot of our outings that used to be May and June prior to really summer getting going, those weren't canceled. Those were just postponed 90 days. So once everything kind of started to come back to a new reality in September and October, and if you're a golfer in the Northeast, you'll love playing golf in the fall. So a lot of those groups really booked in September and October. And we ended up we probably have about 3 new ones just for October to answer your question specifically. But most of those the events that were booked May and June are now September and October. And Elisa and I think we've booked about 4 or 5 new ones this fall. And a couple of them are a little smaller that are built into the tee sheet that actually aren't even part of your these are like a full closing of the golf course, you know? So like we have one next week that's kind of built in. So it's, you know, it's part of our job to manage the tee sheet that way because we don't want to turn away business, but certainly at the same token, we don't want to, you know, have too many. But yeah, it's a good, you know, the fall golf is great, and adding the extra outings we probably added about 3 for October alone. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really positive. Elisa and the food and beverage staff has helped me kind of help manage those conversations and really sometimes it's just the connection, you know, like following up and making sure they get the answer that they're looking for and really a date, you know, what we can or can't do. So, it's really where everyone's kind of working together well to produce a good tight schedule, you know. So, and now that our leagues are complete, Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays become a possibility of an afternoon golf outing. So, so it works. Yeah, it really works. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So that's where we are on outings and events. Always, people love the September, October weather, which I can't blame them. It is great weather. So that's usually the reason for the busy time of year before the chill sets in November. Moving on to grounds. Obviously, as you know, last time around in August, we did go ahead and aerate everything. Fairways, collars, greens, tees in some areas. So we could use a little rain to kind of help us after we did put some chemicals and some ferts and some seed along with that. So we'd love a little rain to help us water it in. We're using the city water. We're using it. So it's been on almost every night to help get that going. So I feel pretty good about where the course is and where it can go the rest of the fall. And then, kind of readdress at that point what we need to do over the winter to get ready for spring. So we talked about the mats on the par threes and different things with our staff inside, and we're working through that right now. So that could be a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was certainly brought up. Does anyone have any questions there?
Okay.
You want to hit Mark?
We'll touch on marketing and advertising. I know, with Andy, with Candor Design, as the committee knows, we meet with him weekly with the team at Makefield. So we're doing our weekly emails, updating, our customers with our specials, with hours of ops changes. Now that we're into September and almost, as we said, almost in October, our daylight hours are changing a little bit. So tee times are through September at 7 a.m. and once we get to October at 7:30. So, we're certainly trying to stay in front of all the updates to the customer about that. So we meet weekly on that, and so hopefully you're seeing all the emails that go through typically on a Thursday or Friday. Social media, as we touched on earlier with the championship. I mean, that's just kind of one piece of a lot that we'll do at Makefield and with Spirit, just to make sure that everything's up to date, where if it's Instagram or if it's a Facebook thread, we can follow along, and we use our YouTube channel a little bit as well. Andy's been speaking with Monica to make sure the slides are updated at the township. So that's an ongoing. That's a
hole-in-ones this month.
Yeah, we've had a few hole-in-ones that we've tried to,
One-off, yeah.
make sure we can get a picture real quick. I think we've had 3 and maybe like a 3-week span. So now that we have that little bookcasing back there, it's actually a nice little backdrop. So it's been good. It's been really nice to do some of that, and everyone's kind of, pushing each other for using our phones to update our site. So when you see things, and the committee, as we always say, share it on your thread. That's always a good thing. The digital promotional messages, have continued for fall, and that's just an ongoing thing, whether that's what Kevin was alluded to with food and beverage. We start kind of pivoting that direction a little bit, as the committee knows, over the years, as we getting to October, the fall menu, what that might look like, what these pop-up chef specials might look like, the grill, like the outdoor grill that we're talking about. So all those things are, kind of discussion points, and we try to make sure Andy and our marketing is such, whether it's a cart sign, whether it's something in the men's and ladies' bathrooms or out front, just letting the customer know what's upcoming, not just what's current, but what's upcoming.
Are you having,
That's okay.
that running, where they run the course or whatever it's called?
Yeah, so that's great segue for the next bullet there on the agenda here is the Folds of Honor. So that's our Folds of Honor event on Friday, November 1st. So that registration has been up and running. So that's a combination of our golf event and then our 5K, 10K with Monica and the team here for Lower Make. That's the second part of the day. So yes, that'll be happening. So we'll kind of, get together with her and her team, they usually kind of manage that portion of it. And it works out really well timing wise, because that next evening is when the time changes. So we still have till about 5:30. So Monica and I and her crew, we're always in front of that time, because really the walk-in runners, golf ends up around 4:00, and then they have that hour and a half to work. So it works out pretty good. So yeah. So we, as Pat came through the shop the other day, we've mentioned it to committee, always welcome with open arms, volunteers. Mark, I know everyone at the committee at the table here has done something over the years. So, love to have you, whatever you can do. If you can, great. We always love that event. So so it's going to be on Friday, November 1st. So that's from the golf side. That's one of the bigger highlights leading up to some of our off-season events. It's typically a 9 a.m. shotgun. Again, we used to have it at 10 o'clock, but because we have daylight a little earlier, obviously, and there's more I don't want to say pressure on the PM side. We've moved it to 9 just so, Monica's team can get out and kind of get the water stations up and just some of the markings on that. So 9, yeah, is when the golfers start. So, we'll do kind of our post round buffet and everything. And then Mike and Kevin and Spirit were very involved with PGA HOPE and Folds of Honor falls in line there. So we usually get someone from the Eastern Regional to come and be a speaker. So by the time we have the buffet and that kind of wraps up, so the players really know and hear stories of where the dollars are going to. By the time 3:30 hits, we're kind of wrapping up and then turning the light on outside and letting that piece come through. So, and I know you've all seen it. I know Mark and others have been involved in it over the years. So we appreciate that and appreciate the help as we move forward too. So it's always a good day. It's always a good day. So if there's any other, I don't know if there's any comments or.
Yeah, one more. We're also scheduling a drone vendor to come in as the leaves change and the colors get just right. Either a sun up or sun down. We don't know what's going to look better yet. We're going to take some of their advice, but do a fly over the golf course, hole by hole fly over the facility, over the entire property. But we're trying to schedule it on a golf outing day before they go out, so it's empty and with a fresh haircut on it. So if we can get the guys out there to mow it just as soon before that as we can, and before an outing goes out, we're doing that, and that'll be a great marketing piece for us. We'll use that in a lot of different ways on the website for golfers themselves to see the golf course ahead of play, and to market different things as we move forward. So that's something we're going to do as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With Mercer County.
No, or is
Yeah,
it a drone?
absolutely.
Is it a drone?
Yeah,
It's a drone. Right.
Drone. Okay. Oh, okay.
So all these vendors come in with that information already. So we've probably had a dozen of these guys come in to sell it, but.
The president was in Philadelphia and there was a no-fly zone, the whole area. So you couldn't get your drone off the ground.
Right. Yeah.
So
we are working through that. So that could be a nice marketing piece too. So that was the last thing I had to add to marketing. Anybody else on that? Any comments on that? Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And moving into capital, we're in capital season. We just met with the town manager and Derek with Public Works about the Cover the Tees program up on the range. And they were walking through the electrical process of it all. And we may not use the Cover the Tee vendor at this point. The township has a CoStars vendor that may work out even better. Basically same concept, same everything, but just a different vendor doing the work. So we had Derek out there working with the vendor. And like I said, marking off the electrical areas and, placements and marking out all those things to kind of see where that's going to go. So we're waiting to hear back from them on their findings and what they need from us to move forward. Derek will also be out with another CoStars vendor for the pond liner to get that ball rolling as far as coming up with what the actual specs need to be of the pond liner. Obviously, it's of high importance to get that really straightened out. So we're working with Derek with Public Works on that, as he has a vendor to come in. That's the first vendor we'll meet with to do that in the next week or so. And then looking at the budget, working through some things. I think we did not use
Hey,
that.
Kevin, excuse me for a second. Would you do me a favor when that's going to happen? Could you let me know?
Mhm.
Eddie and I actually had a conversation the other day. I would imagine the pond on 7, they're going to need to find a way to get in there. So,
Right.
as not only as a golf committee member, but as a resident that's
Mhm.
right there, I would, if I can, be present and kind of
Sure.
on the ground level with respect to what they're going to do or what their idea is about getting into that spot.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Will do. And then, as far as the lease equipment, the lease has been on back order all this time. So this year budget wise, we've, only used about 30% of the lease budget towards this equipment. We're going to take that other 70% and buy out a couple pieces of equipment noted down there: top dresser, aerator, sand pro. And that'll be a wash for the year on the budget line. So it's not any more money than it would have been had we had the leases earlier and we're paying the leases down. So these pieces of equipment we will buy out now and try and do that if they're all available. 2 of the 3 are available, and the other will be a demo for Mark and the guys to look at to make sure it's the proper piece of equipment they need. So we're trying to make the most out of that situation right now. And then the fairway mowers that we've been talking about for so long would go on to next year's lease we expect them sometime in November, late November. So that's that. So that's kind of the big things we're working on right now. Mike did have a conversation yesterday with the engineering firm about the back deck. So that's budgeted this year to get engineered, to get plans and layout, not to do work this year, but to get so that is being done just to kind of get a formal list of details about what needs to be done for the deck, if anything, based on what is decided down the road. But we still need to get the engineering done regardless to see what can be done and should be done and will be done. So that is also ongoing. Mike was speaking with them yesterday.
What are you instructing the guy to engineer? I mean, you expanding it? Are you fixing it? The guy's going to engineer, but he's got to know what he's going to be engineering.
So right, there's going to be an expansion if possible. That would be ideal. That was the whole point, to make that another sellable space out there to add on to the current dining room, grill, however you want to call it. So that would be the ideal. And then he's going to.
Are you going to go closer to 10? Are you going to go out toward 18?
I think we'd like to rectangle it off the building as best we can. So yeah, that would lead us towards in that direction a little bit. But yet there are no plans yet. So I don't know. I can't answer specifics on what would happen to it, but he's going to engineer what is possible to be done, size and scope of the deck itself. And again, no work being done yet, but this is just going to be, a scope of what can be done.
I always fear if you go out toward 18, is it becomes a couple bad shots can come flying at you. So
right,
it's probably, looking at the way that it's set up, it may be smarter to go out toward 10.
Right.
But I don't know. There's a lot of bad golfers out there, and I'm one of them. That's a real bad shot.
Hey, good golfers have bad days too. So it happens to everybody. So that's where we're at on capital right now. That's kind of where we're holding right now. So a lot of conversations, and then as they progress, I'll keep everybody in the loop on what is next, what's next up. So I would expect next month we would have a lot more to say on that. That's about all I have at the moment.
I just have one question in terms of between 18 and 10, maybe the black tee's on 10. There's like this swale or something that looks like a pit now. I don't know whether you took
Yeah. So
vegetation, or that's where the foxes were or whatever out of there, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen.
we're right where the new birdhouses are,
I guess so.
right on that swell.
Yeah.
So that was just mowed down and planted with wildflowers.
Oh, okay.
So we just seeded wildflowers all through that area, on the banks and at the base.
Okay.
So that's what it was cleared out for, to create a colorful wildflower area right there.
Okay, great.
So
that's nice to know. Beautiful.
Anything else from Spirit?
No, thank you.
Anything else from the committee? Anything else from the public? Thank you for attending. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It's-
Thank you. Thank
thanks,
you.
everybody.